Our next panel discussion will put the spotlight on ZingHR.ai and retail, the power of one. A warm welcome to CEO Trent Hypermarket Limited, K. Radhakrishnan. It's my privilege to invite the founder and MD, ZingHR, Prasad Rajappan. He is CEO, Apollo Pharmacies Ltd, P. Jayakumar. And let's hear it for our distinguished moderator for this session. He is CHRO, Crompton Greaves Consumer Electricals Limited, Prashant Nair. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, my dear panel members. Good afternoon. No sound. No sound. Good afternoon. Thoda जोर से. Good afternoon. Is it just before lunch? Is the session before lunch? Or is there one more session after this? Good afternoon. That's slightly better. Okay, great. Fantastic. So, I'm very happy. Thanks for inviting me to moderate this esteemed panel. And I'm sure these are people who got a lot of experience in the retail sector, a lot of experience in the technology sector. And today we will be focusing on what can actually technology, how can technology enable the real path of employee experience and human resource management in the retail sector. So, all of you have heard of BC and AD, right? You've heard of BC and AD? So I'll probably put a different connotation to BC and AD. BC stands for before COVID and AD stands for after disruption. Okay, and the world has seen two worlds, BC and AD, and the retail sector is one sector that has undergone a huge transformation in this period of BC and AD. Okay. So given that transformation, given the fact that today people are not willing to wait for more than 10 minutes to get a household grocery item, okay, this is some of the changes that is happening in some parts of the population in India. Okay. So, if there is one sector that had to adapt and manage this transition, it is the retail sector. So, we'd like to hear from you, Mr. Jayakumar, given the changes that is happening, from an employee management point of view, what are the challenges that you face in the retail sector?
Yeah, first of all, thanks having me here and all the HR folks sitting here. Thanks Mr. Prashant putting up this question. And just to give you the background, yes, definitely the pre-COVID and the post-COVID, the employee mindset definitely has changed, especially talking about the retail employees, because this is an hardest job being done at the front end of the store. And so there is a time the people are now working from home, and we have to make this young population getting into the store every day morning, or it is a 24 hours. Our stores are almost like, to just give you the background of the network. Currently we have 6,500 plus stores across the country, spread across Kashmir to Kanyakumari in all almost like 27 states. We have a presence from 1,100 plus cities. 10% of our network is almost 24 hours because medicine is at 247, right? So it's very important to understand the employees, the mindset also. And how long this young population, we can give a lot of the kind of culture of the organization, and in terms of what they are going to get, these monetary benefits. These are the stuff for one side of it. But with the current, the difficulties there at the ground, and they need to manage, the different timings, number one. And number two, the changing environment very fast in the retail, how they are going to really adopt themselves. So are they able to really upgrade their skill? So they've been really struggling because as a organization will be coming and giving them, oh, tomorrow morning we have to switch over this immediately, switch on this. But are they really ready? I think that's a second challenge what they have. The third one, how are we going to impart the knowledge to them? How much really the technology so-called, because HR being predominantly over the last, whatever the number of decades, they've been very strong in terms of focusing their payroll, focusing their, their separations or kind of, they are adding their kind of roles and etc. But however, in terms of upgrading their knowledge, how much time we are really spending? Are we giving the enough, the ammunition for them to handle the customers? I think this is definitely the third one and a kind of a challenge. Apart from that, always there will be a comparison would be coming from the peer group, right? This industry is giving this, what is that as a retail, how much, really we are going to get it. And I think that's the major, thing. That's the fourth one. I think these are the, majorly if you talk about, it's about the challenging environment, how can they really cope up? What is that organization is doing for that? How are you going to do their upskill and reskill? That is number 2. And number 3, how are we going to solve their basic problems? And just typically to give, people like the retail like us, we have a 26% diversity, and providing the washroom in terms of, in the retail kind of an environment at the store, it's a challenge for us. And, because mostly the construction, kind of a stores which are coming up, we take the small box. Generally, they don't make a toilet. So what kind of an effort? That is the one challenge for the employees even. That's a small, for us, in our point, it is maybe a small. For the employees, shoes are very big, for example. So there are challenges which is most related to their coming and motivating them coming into the job is one. Apart from that, in terms of peer comparison, how are they going to upgrade their knowledge? That is number 2. And number 3, how the organization or HR have to come in terms of from the payroll to other stuff, and they have to come and really be a partner and engaging them and really giving them the required ammunition to face the customers. That's what I
Thank you, Mr. Jayakumar. I think one is the hygiene factor itself. One, the basic hygiene. The second is the motivational part. And a third is the learning and development part. If I could summarize your response. Thank you. And picking up from there, Mr. Radhakrishnan, you are a veteran in the industry. We have an environment where I think 40% of the people are gig employees. At the same time, this is a sector where there are diversity is very large. People of different generations work, people across the spectra work. At the same time, you have a challenge that retail is not seen as an aspirational sector for a young person to walk in. So the question is it really a destination of choice? If not, how do you create this entire industry as a destination of choice for future employees and for the younger population that we have?
One of the biggest problems that retail has always had, not only here but around the world, is to attract talent. Way back in 1996, I was working with RPG. We opened the first retail store in this country called Food World in Raja Annamalapuram in Chennai. At that time, to recruit store managers, we used to go to the colleges in Chennai, and these are not MBA colleges, these are any graduate college. And what we used to tell them is that this is a bucket and pail job. If you join a grocery retail outlet and your mom comes and sees you cleaning the shelf, if she has a problem, don't join us. Retail is about doing the basic stuff again and again every day. It doesn't mean that there is no skill level at the back or in terms of supply chain and technology. Because you asked us questions specifically about the larger place where employment happens, that is in the supply chain and in the store. It's really one of the biggest problems to attract talent at the front end. It is also because the front end, retail front end is always trying to reduce the cost. You cannot pay fancy salaries to the store people, and therefore you will only get the people that that salary will attract. I'm sorry, but you give peanuts, you get monkeys. I'm not saying they're monkeys, but they are really hardworking, sincere, people who work their normal 9 to 10 hours, but you get talent in proportion to the salary they are actually paying. In fact, if there's a scarcity, you take even poor talent into that salary bracket. So to answer your question, can it become a destination? I doubt it. But it can become a destination for the people who are looking for a job, who are willing to be trained. You look at the diversity. Many retail outlets, today it's difficult getting diversity even though it's one of the stated objectives. Women don't come forward in those numbers that you actually want. Personally, left to me, I would run every store with women. The stores where there's a woman manager, the shrinkage is lower, the store runs well, it's more profitable than the others, and this is a yardstick.
Great.
And it is so evident that the diligence with which they work, they are able to do repetitive jobs better and better with better diligence. I'm not running down men, that is, I'm not running down my breed, but the fact is that women are able to focus on a limited job but are able to do it deep. I remember the first lady manager in Raja Annamalapuram, she's no more unfortunately, was the best manager I've ever worked with. She knew every customer's name. Every customer used to come. When we shifted her to a store manager, we got written complaints from customers. How dare you shift your store manager? Bring Usha back to the store. That's what they can do. So, to answer your question directly, can it become a destination? It can be for the largest percentage of people at the bottom of the pyramid. Of course, ever since C.K. Prahalad talked about bottom of the pyramid, the number of people in the bottom of the pyramid has reduced substantially. And that's also a problem for, retailers like Mr. Sanklecha, who's trying to open stores and he can't get people to come and work in the stores. Nobody wants to do, blue collar jobs. That's also a problem today. Even if you don't have money, your social aspiration, your Instagram aspiration is so high, nobody wants to do a bucket and pail job.
Thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan. Very interesting. In fact, my first career as a management trainee was in the RPG group, and I remember meeting you when you were a very senior person there. Okay. Now, Prasad, I think what the two leaders have actually give us are some of the employee-related specific challenges in the retail sector. Now, ZingHR, I know, works across sectors. How can you come up with some solution from the technology front to actually address challenges like addressing the hygiene, motivating people, attracting talent into this sector, and of course, skilling up these people?
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Doctor, I think we heard two almost like owners or CEOs of companies talking of real-life people challenges. We at ZingHR have been fortunate to work with a lot of retail companies. And one of the things we've realized that it is not just about people. It starts from the board's priorities of saying how to make profits, how to take care of the people. So what we have done, we have come out with something called People Readiness Index, Wellness Index, and Technology Readiness Index. Okay. Now what we are trying to do, today's world, people talk of gig, but I think one of the characteristics is it's all become personalized. No longer people are wanting HR to plan their careers. No longer people are looking at management to say, I remember people worked in large companies like Tata's may retire from the same company. Today's world, people are looking at personalized, being taken care. And that is where technology plays a role. Today, whether there is a rewards and recognition, whether there are growths, their incentives, their well-being is taken care of by technologies. So what we've been, our experience with most of the leaders when we are talking retail, how do I touch the life of the people? I've often seen statements saying, no, my attrition is 40%, but that is industry standard. But we have got a lot of leaders saying, attrition, we did a workshop with another Tata Group company, see what is the cost of attrition. It realized that even for a minimum wages guy of say 10,000, the cost of attrition is 14 times. That means every person you lose, you're losing 1.4 lakhs. Can I reduce my attrition from 30% to 28? It can run into millions. So I think today's, with the competition with quick commerce, I think we talk of that separately. There is a huge competition of retaining customers. It's not just dispensing, retaining customers. Like in pharmacy or the bazaar thing, this competition is coming. I think your people, retaining people, they being the hallmark is going to be the key. And that is where a combination of human touch and technology comes into picture. So we have got one concept called outcome mission, doctor. So we are saying don't do any technology intervention just because people want it. Don't say I want bots. So we focus on business outcomes, and we call that methodology called outcome mission, where we are looking at the board's priorities of profitability, growth, productivity, diversity and all. And it works fantastically.
And are you saying that some of these indexes actually contribute to the business success?
Our logic is if nothing is, it is not contributing to business success, including employee welfare, then it doesn't make sense. 100%.
Great. Fantastic. Good. I'll take a pause here and ask if there are any questions at this point in time to any of the panel members. Any questions at this point in time? Yeah, there's a gentleman there. Can you pass on the mic, please? You could introduce yourself and then us. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. My name is Kushal. So you talked about there is problems regarding hiring new people or the young blood into retail sector. So what do you think? So that is a problem. Everyone, it's there, right? I've just recently joined my family business of a fashion retailer, and we are running into those problems where we are, it's harder to acquire new talent, train them. So what is exactly the solution? We know that that's the problem, but what do you think is the solution forward? Thank you.
The solution for attracting talent or retaining talent?
Well, attracting talent, retaining them,
Solution for attracting and retaining talent.
both.
Radhakrishnan.
Actually, if you read this book called Toyota Talent, it's a book worth reading. In Toyota Talent, they say there are three processes, three criteria they use for hiring people into their company. One is always hire freshers with no experience. I'm trying to answer your question. The problem is you want people with experience, so therefore they will be more expensive. So Toyota hires people with no experience. They take freshers. Second, because they hire freshers, they are able to train them the way they want in the culture of Toyota. And the third thing is, because they have no experience, your competition will not take them at least for some time. So what you want is the cheapest person you want to hire at the highest experience, and the competition also should not take them. It is not possible. You have to spend enough time to take a fresher and convert them into an employable person. If you don't have that commitment, the person can never have a commitment to your organization.
Yeah, just to add on, yeah, I think it's right. I got the answer. Just to add on, there is a possibility, because now that you are saying that you are a second generation, you know that what kind of what we call the profile of the people basically fit for your business. So you can able to make that profiling properly. There are tools available to check them before even you actually conduct and take them. There are tools available you can apply, and you can just see whether it will be a fit for you. I think that's what, because we recruit close to 30,000 people in a year, because we have same problem of 40% attrition, around 25,000 people. So actually we have done this profiling based on the 5-6 years of data of the attrition, and what kind of people really stay at the store in terms of demographics, in terms of their mindset, and whatever the 3 or 5, 6 criteria we have put and we have checked it. And it's really that is a little bit help for us to take the right profiling of the people.
Great.
Doctor, just adding.
Yeah, sure.
I think lastly, if you take care of them, if you're really bothered about their careers, they will never leave. The problem happens when we are so busy with our business, we are focusing on our own career or the business's career. And that is what we will have to set a culture. You can't do, suppose you've got 1,000 people, you can't focus with others. But can you create managers who ensure that the next level people's careers and aspirations are met? It is easier said than done, but I think that's the only answer.
Any other question? Yeah, Jayant. Pardon? You want to understand this framework? Prasad, can you explain this framework?
I think, like I was mentioning, we, after about 4 years of research, we said we have come up with something called outcome mission. Like I said, we are looking at what are the board's priorities index. Many times as CXOs, we not able to understand the changing decisions of the board. So that's the board's priority index. And then I said the people readiness index, how agile are they? Are we taking of their skill upskilling? Are people ready with ambiguity? I think today's world, it's very important to know whether are we ready to with ambiguity. Gone are the days where job description will decide the job. Today, I think you finalize the job description on the run. Most important is the wellness and happiness index of people. I think it's very, very important for retention. And there we got a lot of large companies who are doing that. The people are happily staying there. And that is a part of culture. And of course, you can use technology for that.
Good, great. So any other questions? If you have, I want to ask them a couple of questions. And the question to Mr. Jayakumar is that...
And I have a question for the audience.
Yeah, please. Please. You have later or now? So I'll just finish the round and then come to you. Mr. Jayakumar, one question that I have is that given the importance of managers, the first line manager and the senior leadership, what are the specific 1 or 2 critical competencies that you would want a leader to have in the retail industry?
Right, so I think, yeah, that's the time has come. Definitely, we need to continuous basis. The learning is anyway, every day is a learning in a retail. That's what we always say is that, how we see as an organization is the moment of truth which happens at the store. So until unless the top 2, the mid and, the management team not reaching out at the ground, not understanding the moment of truth and not listening to the consumer as well as your employees. I think these are the 2 big things. As an organization, we just launched the consumer connect or store connect activity where we feel that there are only 2 set of the people. One is that the guy at the store who serves the customer, and also from your central team who really serves your internal customer. Absolutely. I think this is, at the end of the day, we are all working, at this, for the customer centric. At the end of the day, customer is centric for us. So around it, what is that really the gap of, skill set? That is what we are really, seeing it. As an organization, we felt that across the pyramid, everyone has to go for upskill. So the typical things what we have done, we got a supervisory development program that is for the store. At the end of the day, Sarah said, if the store in charge, the store supervisor is good, everything is taken care. So we are in the process of developing around 5,000 supervisory development for the next set of stores and also to manage the this thing. At the same time, in this pyramid, the guys who are the cluster heads. So how do you really train them to handle this, the Gen Z? Because the retail, hardly 85% of the people who are working at the retail is less than 25 age. Their aspirations are different, so we have to balance it. How these cluster heads, how do you train them? Then for them, we call that ELP, which is Executive Learning Program, from the supervisory executive. Then with the middle management, that we got it as Managerial Development Program, which is an MDP. Then we got the leaders. For them, we said that Future Leader Program. So that I think this is because in the retail, as long as you can able to get the people within the organization, your culture will stand, and the continuity of growth, what we are looking, that will really stay there. I think that is what as an organization we have started. Mix of internal as well as the external, the trainers we have got. We put the 12.
What is the mix between internal and external in your organization?
70%, I'm talking about the training. I'm just, the trainer program is around 80%. 20% we are involving the outside agency also to come and really the T&D, the partners to come and help us. I think that's what we are doing as an organization.
Mr. Radhakrishnan, what are the 2 or 3 key competencies that a leader should have in the retail sector? A leader should have in the retail sector 2 or 3 key competencies.
I think we have to read this book by Daniel Goleman of Emotional Intelligence. I think what society today lacks is emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is about words like empathy, realization, patience, time. The level of emotional intelligence in the society is going downwards, while intelligence is going up. IQ is going up, but EQ is going down. Retail is all about EQ. And the most successful leaders in the world are people who have a high, very high emotional intelligence. And even if IQ is good, if your EQ is, if your emotional intelligence is not good, you can never make a good leader. And you will see the leaders around you now and even in the past. Those people are those people who feel for others. So as a store manager or a leader in retail, your job is to deal with a group of people. You take a fresher as a store manager, he now has to lead 25, 30 people. He can't even lead himself. How will he lead 30 people? And therefore, to structure, it has two parts. One is a structured working. If the person is very low on EQ, he will only follow structure. Structure is only as good as the allowances that you make when things are different. So I would say, if you want a very good retail manager or a leader, his IQ must be adequate, but his emotional intelligence should be exquisite.
Great, fantastic. Oh, you want to ask the question now at this stage? You want to ask the question at this stage?
Yeah, so I want to ask all of you, is attrition good or bad?
Is the attrition good or bad? Anyone? Both. Both.
So at what percentage is it good and what percentage is it bad?
Pardon? 10 to 20%.
10 to 20% attrition per month or per year? Per year?
Per year, yes.
There is nobody who has that lovely number. All attrition is double digit per month. Isn't it?
Yeah, certainly.
So anyway, this is, people keep saying I have attrition and attrition. But you know, neither 0 is good nor 100 is good. The truth lies somewhere in between and depends on your business as to what it is. Sorry, kind of a trivia for the day.
No, absolutely.
Can I
You want to?
Yeah. I think attrition is where people leave for some misalignment with the company, or they feel that their aspirations are not going to be met here. And monetary is just one part of it. So in fact, our tagline has been hire to rehire. In our company also, in the last 1 year, we are almost like 8 to 9% of the people who have come back after working with large companies. And when we interviewed them, they said culture. So I think if you can take care of the culture, I think, and attrition skills, yeah, go ahead.
So I'll tell you a story. In the second store that Food World opened way back in 1997, it was in Annanagar. And the driver who was driving our van, his son, he was actually matriculation passed. He's passed school, but he has not studied. So he said, can you take my son as your store? So we thought a lot, and then we said, okay, we should try. He became a fantastic store person. So what is his job? Receive everything, put it on the shelf, clean the shelf. Outstanding. Every year he would get a 10% increment till such time that his salary became more than the engineer who was joining. Now that's a big problem. Do you keep him because he's so good at his job, but his salary is more than what the job should be paid? So attrition at the right percentage, at the right time, for the right place.
Absolutely.
Is actually essential to keep a company profitable.
Also, Mr. Radhakrishnan, my own take on attrition is that attrition is like a fever. It's a manifestation. It's a symptom of something else. You need to understand what the real root cause is about attrition before we try to control or manage attrition for that matter. Okay, any last question anywhere? Anyone? Yeah, there's a mic there. We have 2 minutes to go. We have one question, the audience.
He has a 40% attrition. What are the reasons, sir?
Sorry,
Can
sir?
you rate it as 1, 2, 3? What are the reasons?
What are the reasons for attrition? Okay, so we are
It is 1, 2, 3 like that.
Yeah, we are in the same industry. This is about now how we classify as an attrition. Apart from the regular things, because you are transferring the guy to one store to other store and all the stuff you keep aside. So today, the major reason for them, pressure at the store, which they have to do multiple activities. So how can we really make employees, because we know that we have to serve the customer at particular pace, but are we staffing enough at the store? I think that's one of the reason people leave. The second thing, for 500 rupees, which the other guy. So it is always, the chicken again, the story. So that, really, take that, okay, I'm doing here. If I'm not getting the enough motivation, always there's someone else to, really take care of me. The third, the retail, one of the biggest thing is the shrinkage. Because that's, the problem, and how the organizations are really looking into the shrinkage policy. Because shrinkage policy, and at a certain rate, on a certain this thing, what we have paid, then at the end of the day, the lacks of stock has been handed over to them. Could they able to make that stock, the tallying properly there? I think there is a reason where, there are issues where they need to, little bit of shrinkage. When you start collecting from them, that's really create a kind of a noise. I think these are 3-4 areas. And fourth one, finally, I want to put that is typically the people, in terms of, when we want to, because we cannot keep the store guy at the same store. We are like, multiple, when you have a chain, we need to keep rotating them. Just, this is all about convenience. If the guy who is not really, doesn't have his, the convenience of he's been placed in a 1 kilometer radius, we lose him. I think these are the 3-4 major reasons what we feel, apart from other regular things of the pressure what he handles on the day-to-day job.
Thank you. And I can't summarize this, but the time's up. So I just like to leave you with a thought. Okay, we are in a generation wherein people want 10 minutes delivery, right? Now I don't know what will be the next leap for 10 minutes. Will it be 5 minutes, 2 minutes, immediate? I don't know. But when in a context of 10-minute delivery, you go to an employee and say that you have to wait 2 years for a promotion, or you have to wait 9 months to complete a course. That's the dichotomy or challenge that we all have to face. That's the aspiration of the society, right or wrong, I'm not commenting about it. At least one part of the society. So I leave you with a thought, and only the one thing that I've learned in the last few years of my, not last few years, quite a number of years, is that there was a time when we were told it's the survival of the fittest. After, in the era that we are in, it's the survival of the fastest. But the future is not about fittest and fastest. It will be the survival of the happiest. If you are a happy person, I think you will do well. If you're a happy organization, you will do well. And I think all that we have said should actually enable you to create a happy organization and be a happy person. Thank you. God bless.